In the early 2012 to 2015s, there was three Goliaths in the music industry. One was barely just now making it out of the streets of LA, Kendrick Lamar. Another from North Carolina, making it big in the New York streets. And another one was Drake, a guy who already had a few acting chops and a few things under his portfolio. During this time, those three individuals were pretty much unstoppable. If you were a hip hop fan, you had to listen to these guys. They were in every single conversation of who's the best. At the end of the day, it was three genres of music. It was a very conscious rapper who made very interesting and very complex album ideas that we seen in the Kendrick Lamar's discography, and J. Cole being a relatable yet I want to say a conscious rapper as well. J. Cole has made a lot of albums that really related to a lot of people during certain times of their lives and certain situations. And Drake, who made music that pretty much anybody could listen to and just identify that as being is pretty good, or is really good, or it's the most poppy version of whatever else you're really interested in hip hop and or music. These three guys were very much on track to be the biggest of rap. And for multiple years, they continue to be so. Now, fast forward 2025, we look at the state of the so called Big Three. One started a war between the other, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and one bowed out and apologized for even being in the conversation of getting in the argument. At this time, only one of the three is seen as the victor of hip hop, which is Kendrick Lamar. So, as I'm looking at the state of hip hop right now, I think it's safe to assume that the big three is probably the first, only, and last time that would ever be used for three artists. There are so many subgenres in rap. There's so many subgenres in music in general. You can't necessarily put a top three of anything because, again, at the time when the top three was there, everybody was pretty much either conscious rap or pop rap. But now it's emo, now it's mumble, now it's whatever. It's everything under the sun. And putting the three over a genre that is so dominated and so versed like hip hop is just kind of misleading to the industry. The thing is, the big three was just a term that we made because it was so interesting to see three huge artists in the same genre dominating charts every single time they dropped, and there's not necessarily a lot of people who's doing that right now. Again, you will probably look at a Travis Scott, or you look at a Playboy Cardi, and maybe think, hey, maybe they're qualified to be considered the big three of this generation. Well, you would be correct in assuming that because they're making such such high heights when it comes to selling and album sales and all these other things, that you would assume that they probably be in that conversation. But I regret to inform you that the top three artists, or the big three in rap, was only made because of these three gentlemen. And I feel like there's no real need to have that conversation anymore. These three individuals are not the big three anymore. Artists are everywhere. There's not a weird bar that you have to jump over to be in hip hop anymore. There's no crazy hip hop purist that's gatekeeping anybody. Like, anybody can just have a very prolific and long career in hip hop right now. And this is the main reason why the big three conversation isn't even a thing anymore. Now, I would sit here and lament how much I miss that era of just being three of the biggest artists happen to be on somebody's song or featuring on something, or whatever they do just ends up getting touched and turned into gold. But if I'm being honest, that's not the era that we live in anymore. And it's sad. I feel like the top three conversation should be left to rest. Now, Fight me if you want. There's nobody in this generation that fits the bill of being the top three of hip hop. Fight me. And at some point we are gonna have to have that conversation to see where hip hop is gonna be heading to in the next few 5, 6 years, when these people that we consider the top performers and or rappers and or quality people are going to be gone. What do we have left in order to hold over real core hip hop fans? Anyway, that's just my thoughts. I'm just yapping a little bit, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.